Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Coming to you today, talk to you about where you're going to park that truck today, driver. Does anybody watching this know where they're going to park their truck today? Maybe if you got a dedicated account, you go back to a yard every day, you might know. But most OTR people don't know where exactly they're going to park their truck every day. You could say, hey, I'm going to try to make it to this truck stop or this rest area or this customer and shut it down, but there's no guarantee in that. You ever be cruising along and think, hey, I'm going to stop at this truck stop here, and you pull in there and it's pretty much full. I get that occasionally. Sometimes the problem is, customers hold you up. Say you got that easy 8 a.m. appointment to get loaded, and you're like, yeah, I get loaded at 8 a.m. Probably have me loaded by 9 or 10. I got 400 miles to do today. I'll be shutting her down by 5, 6 p.m. Feeling all good about it. Then next thing you know, you're not loaded till 1 p.m. You've still got to cover the 300 or 400 miles for the day, and then before you know it, it's 8 or 9 o'clock. The sun has gone down on you, and there you are, struggling to find a parking spot. We've all been there. If you haven't been trucking that long. So in this video, I'm going to lay out a few ideas I have about it. If you think they're good ideas, I tell you what, share this video with your congressman. Maybe get me some watch time from the White House. You know what I mean? Because this is a real problem in this country. In the White House, they want to spend $300 million on electric city buses, but they don't want to help us find a place to park, and it's sad. So, I'm not public sector should figure everything out for us. I say let the private sector figure part of it out. Stop holding up these truck stops. Let them build more truck stops. If Love's or Thornton's or whoever wants to build a truck stop with some parking, I say let them tear up some ground and build it, because we need somewhere to park out here. That is more of an emergency to me than the driver shortage. Is the place to park. To me, that's the biggest threat to OTR trucking right now. Especially, if you go out East Coast, like the Northeast, I book parking spots like days in advance when I'm going out there, just so I know I got somewhere to park. It's not fun. I hate spending the money on it, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And I understand some of the truck stops needing to charge for paid parking, and certain areas, their land taxes are probably, millions of dollars a year. So they got to do what they got to do. But here's what I think. I think Wisconsin, one of my favorite states. If you ask me, hey, what's the best state to truck in? I got to tell you, Wisconsin's on my short list. Wisconsin provides a lot of parking. Now, I know the winters are rough there. That is a drag. But as far as just the trucking part of it, if you take the weather out of it, I think Wisconsin's starting to really set a good example. Lots of truck stops. Not all of them are major chains. I like that. Some smaller regional chains. Maybe some more places where people own 2 or 3 truck stops, or maybe the mom and pop where they just own one. A lot of that going on in Wisconsin. But for me, the short answer on how do we fix the truck parking, that's why I go to Wisconsin. That's why I am speaking about Wisconsin today. Because if you guys run Wisconsin a lot, you will notice, okay, when you enter Wisconsin on I-90, their Welcome Center rest area there, last year they decided to expand the parking lot there. And I like this idea, because when you pull into that rest area, the layout was you pull in, to your left was about 30 to 40 parking spots. Not a bad size rest area. People would park on the shoulders and everything. You probably get 50 trucks in there altogether. But then Wisconsin came in last summer, and what they did is the rest area, is already like the land that the rest area is on is much bigger than the facilities. So basically what they done is they paved. So when you would pull in and to the left would be parking spots. Now when you pull in, there's like 30 or 40 parking spots to the left, 30 to 40 parking spots to the right. They basically expanded and doubled the parking lot size. I love that. Because rest areas are free parking. Now, down in the comments, you guys let me know. I'm doing an informal survey. Do you prefer to park at rest areas or truck stops, and why? Just wanting to know, kind of how people think about it. Me personally, I like rest areas as long as the guy next to me doesn't pull up 50 foot farther than he should be, because I feel like I'm in and out of a rest area really fast. Now, I don't have the opportunity to go in shopping and, buy, shiny trinkets, but sometimes that works out good for me because I save a little bit more money. And I'm kind of forced to cook the food in my fridge instead of making it easy and just going into, Burger King or somewhere. So I kind of like the rest area as far as like, the confinement. But the reason, again, with Wisconsin, I'll bring them up. So really big rest areas already, like, just west of Madison over there on, I guess that, I don't know if that's considered, I think 90 and 94 are running together right there. I think's what that is. Giant rest areas. I mean, you could probably park 300 trucks at these rest areas out there. I think that's the cure. I think the rest areas that already exist, it would be a cheap plan to just expand the parking lot. Now, I know you got to go through the EPA and all that good stuff for, to expand a parking lot and whatnot, make sure there's no endangered, sea turtles or whatever out there, I don't think there's many sea turtles in Wisconsin, so that's probably why they gave it the go-ahead. But if you look, think about it. The rest area has already allotted the land, because if you look where the fence goes, like the freeway fence goes behind the rest area, most of the time there's way more land involved in the rest area than they're using. Number two, you've already got facilities there, so there's no building more, bigger facilities. It's already there. Use what we got. And I think almost everyone would agree that we have a good amount of rest areas in this country. They're just not big enough. A lot of them are just not big enough. They fill up super quick, especially like in Pennsylvania where they use them as the weigh station. I know, I'm not a big fan of staying at a rest area that's also a weigh station, It's not how I want to start my day, wake up and, while I'm doing my pre-trip, get a level 1 while I'm there, I'm not afraid of it, but it's definitely not how I want to start the day. But again, we look at some of these other states that have acknowledged these big rest areas are good ideas. Look at Indiana over there on the east side of Indianapolis, eastbound and westbound. They built massive rest areas over there. I bet you could park 300 or 400 trucks. Kentucky down around Horse Cave on I-65. By the way, I was going to say the 65. I've been watching people on YouTube that say like the 40 or the 65, and now I'm getting like where I'm doing it. I'm like, why? It's not the, it's I-65, not the 65. But anyway, I digress. If you're coming up 65 or going south, just past, like in between Bowling Green and Elizabethtown or whatever that town's called there, Kentucky, 2 massive rest areas. Now, also in Wisconsin, I go back to Wisconsin again because they're doing this all over the place, expanding out the rest areas. Like, say you're coming east out of Wisconsin right before you get to Janesville. I believe that would be considered 90 and 39 running together right there. It's only like I run it 500 times a year. You think I'd know these things. But anyway, they got a big rest area there, and they did the same thing to it. They took it from probably being like a 60 parking spot to that thing's probably like 150. Now, they really expanded onto that thing. But they also acknowledged, hey, if we're going to add 100 parking spots to a rest area, the bathrooms here that were made for, 50 trucks, probably not good enough. So what did they do? They stuck a couple porta-johns out on the edge of the lot. Is it the way I want to live? No. But if it means that's what we got to do to get more parking, because here's how I look at it. If you pull in there, and you're a guy and you just need to, do a number 1, run in the porta-john, do your number 1. If you got to really do something, you got a number 3 brewing and you need to go into the building. That's the way I look at it. It's convenient, but the most important thing is they added parking. The facilities, I'm not going to say they don't matter, but at the end of the day, when I'm tired, I want to shut it down. I had a little thing this morning where they were parked about 3 past the line over at the TA in Knoxville, and I gave myself an out. I'll put a clip at the end. You stick around, you can see what I'm talking about. But, you know, it's like, if you're tired, block me in. I don't care. If you're tired, get off the road. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill somebody else. Because, I mean, let's face it. Who's going to watch my videos if all you guys crash, you know, in the middle of the night? So, you know, all joking aside here, pull in, block me in. I don't care. I had a guy at a rest area in Texas a couple of months ago. Pulled right in front of everybody and just blocked like 5 or 6 trucks. I wasn't even mad at it. I was like, I woke up, you know, I always give myself a little extra time when I wake up. I try not to be too pressed for time in the morning, you know, in case I find something during a pre-trip, I can maybe take care of it, you know, if it's something simple before I hit the road. This guy pulls in, blocks everybody. I wasn't even mad at it. Just, if you're going to do something like that, be prepared to get up, you know, quickly and move. I got up, I went out, you know, I waited till I got, you know, my pre-trip done, and I just walked over and I pecked on the door, and I mean, he was, boom, he jumped right up and didn't even say anything, didn't even roll his window down. He just like hopped in the seat, put it in reverse, backed out of the way, and on my way I went, you know. And I would much rather a guy do that than to be like, oh no, I don't want to block in these trucks, and then, you know, put it in the river, you know, 3 miles down the road. That's no way to do it, you know. Because most of the time when you fall asleep, you put it in the river with a window up. And everybody knows my motto. If you're going to put it in the river, step 1 is to roll the window down. So that's my thoughts. You know, if you agree with me, share this video to your congressman or your senator and let them know, like, hey, instead of spending a bunch of money on electric buses that, you know, 5 people will ride, how about we spend some money to keep the roads safe and give these guys a place to sleep? I came out of Knoxville last night, coming up 75 up toward Lexington, and I'm going to tell you, almost every on-ramp and off-ramp had trucks parked on it. That I-75 right through there is so bad about truck parking being full. And I just feel sorry for these guys parked on the shoulder. You know, I'm like, you're not getting a really good night's sleep, so then you're tired the next day, you're not productive. It's costly not having good, safe parking. You know what I mean? You got no facilities, nothing. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm kind of like an alternating. Like, when I don't need a shower, which is basically never, but when I don't need a shower, and when I've got food in the truck to cook, I like rest areas. They're quick in, they're quick out, that type of thing. But, you know, we need more truck stops too. I was coming through, I believe it was I-70 in Indiana, and on a chain link fence, you know, the freeway fence, maybe not chain link, but whatever, there was a big sign on one of the exits that had like a real estate, a realtor's name and company on there and phone number, and underneath it, it said, this would be a great exit for a truck stop. And I'm like, you know, it kind of would. It was pretty busy through there, and there was no truck stop on that exit. And I'm like, maybe I should send this over to the folks at the Loves. You know, they're throwing up truck stops like they're going out of style. So, you know, I think a lot of that comes down to no one really wants a truck stop in their neighborhood. You know what I mean? You see a lot of, like, when you get down to the local level, like when these truck stops try to build a 150 truck parking, you know, massive travel plaza, they get a lot of people saying, we don't want that in our neighborhood. We don't want the noise. We don't want the pollution. We don't want the negatives of a truck stop. So we deal with a lot of that. So kudos to the truck stops that are still trying to build truck stops and not tax everybody to death on parking and all that kind of stuff. But maybe, you know, that's one way the government could help us out a little bit and say, hey, if you guys don't want to come off the money to build and, you know, make rest areas larger, because that's my thing. I think we have so many rest areas in this country. If we would just expand the ones we've got, if you took every rest area that's under, like, let's say under 75 parking spots, and you doubled it. So like the big ones that are already big, leave them alone. They're doing great. But some of the ones that are like, where there's like one little row of parking for trucks, maybe 10, 15 trucks. What we do, we expand the parking lot out and we add another row, maybe a longer row of parking as well. That would be my suggestion, like to quickly add more truck parking and to lax up on these truck stops that want to build new travel plazas. Uh, I just think that's a good plan too. Let the private money take care of it. Because I'm going to tell you, like, you see these new loves going up, and you stop in these new loves, and it's like, they're packed. Obviously, they're making money at it. They're throwing them up right and left. I stopped in one, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago over there. I think it was Oak Grove, Kentucky. There's a Pilot and a Flying J at that exit in a Marathon. I stopped at that one the other day, that new loves, and that thing was like packed to the gills before sundown. And I'm like, could we not have built a bigger truck stop? Could we have not maybe built another one on this exit? I know there's already 4 truck stops there, but there's also a giant Walmart distribution center right down the road, and it's in a very traveled area. So it makes me wonder, like, could we not get more? Can we not get a few more in that area? I don't know. There's lots of options, but true to the nature of the beast, our leaders are not spending the money wisely that they're borrowing from foreign countries. That's all I'll talk about politics, but that goes for all politicians too. Spend money that's not yours to get votes. That's politicking 101, right? But my thought is, send this to a politician. Let them, tell them, say, hey, we need truck parking, and this guy's got ideas. And then they can reach out to me. My email's down there in the description. We can talk about it. And I don't know, maybe. But that's it, guys. I just want to talk to you about truck parking. Let me know if you like rest areas or truck stops better. Which one do you prefer to stay at? Check out that description down below. Lots of good stuff linked down there. And click on one of these other videos if you want to continue watching Cash is King videos. Thanks, everybody. Be sure to hit that like button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Take care of each other. Until next time. Oh, he wants to pull a reefer trailer. Well, this is the downside of it. It's everybody else at the truck stop is sleeping really good right now. It's about 1:30 in the morning, and I got to get up to go do it. I just got done with a pre-trip. Hopefully I can get out of here. They are parked about, where's my finger at? They're parked about 3 deep over the line right here with this WTI flatbed here. So hopefully we can swing around this Landstar that didn't quite back in enough. He's got about 4 foot before his trailer tandems hit the curb back there, but I don't know. Always leave yourself options. I got here at about noon today, or yesterday technically, and I picked this spot because of that. I kind of figured it was going to block me in over here, so I picked this spot so I could squeeze out through there, and that's how we're going to do it.